Hello, this is Colorama, and the purpose of this app is learning colors for men's fashion. So, we're going to teach you a few color palettes that will hopefully help young men such as myself dress a little better. So, when the user gets onto this homepage, you see the nice design. Colorama is in big letters, so hopefully your eyes are drawn there, and then you see the purpose. Learn colors for men's fashion, and then this start learning button is blue. It's in the accent color, and it should hopefully stand out. So the user will click this, and it'll take them to the first learning page, which is earth tones. And you'll read earth tones are colors inspired by natural elements like soil, moss, and stone. They create a grounded and harmonious aesthetic, and then just looking, you'll see that each of these colors sort of expands when you hover over it. So if I just try clicking, now we can see that earth tones, looking specifically at olive, we can read the description for the color, and then see a few outfits and pieces that use this color. And when I get to the bottom of the screen here, I can either go back to the palette or go to the next color. So I'll look at the next one, tan. Here I can see, okay, there's brown, there's the tan color and different items. So then looking at brown, so this hopefully will give a sense of the type of outfits you use with an earth tones palette. And then look, I can even see accent to see like pieces that would be in the accent colors. So after I've looked through the earth tones, I'm going to go to next, and I'm going to click on pastel. So I'll read pastel colors, just the next sort of is the next theme. So pastel colors are soft, low saturation versions of colors that create gentle, soothing aesthetic. They're perfect for creating subtle, delicate looks. So I'm gonna think, okay, pink is one of the main colors. The quiz will ask me to identify main and accent colors for each sort of type of outfit. And then baby blue is as well, and light yellow. So, by scrolling through these images, hopefully I'm going to get a sense for, okay, what pastel colors, what those outfits look like. And maybe I say, oh, I've forgotten sort of what earth tones look like. So I can just click this previous button. And then, okay, I've had another look. Maybe I've clicked. I've gone back to the palette. Now I can just click next, and I see pastel colors. And then next I find monochrome colors is the next color palette. So this is just basically monochrome colors are just different shades of white, gray, and black. Or different shades of white, I guess, since this is all the same color, a different shade. So I can look, okay, this is what sort of all white outfits look like. This is what black outfits look like. Yeah, and then here's gray. So that way I get a sense of what it means to be wearing a monochrome outfit. And then finally there's the jewel tones. So jewel tones are rich, deep colors inspired by precious gems. They create a luxurious, sophisticated, and bold aesthetic. So I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna hone in. Okay, this is what ruby looks like. Here's emerald, and yeah, this will hopefully allow me to see what each color palette emphasizes, and then so maybe I get to the end of looking through all these photos, and then I say, okay, I'm ready to take the quiz. So maybe doing this first one, it says to create a color palette from these items, question 1 of 4, and that makes sense because I learned 4 color palettes, so I know it's going to be one of those 4. So perhaps let's just say I haven't really studied up, so I'm confused. I just put random ones, sort of guessing. I can say, okay, this is going to be incorrect because I've just done random. This doesn't follow a pattern, but I can say check answer, not quite right. So I'm going to see what I've got wrong. So I know the palette here is meant to be earth tones, and I can see, okay, I've selected cream and terracotta. It should be brown and tan, and I've selected gray, which obviously is an earth tones, should be terracotta. So say I'm confused here, I say, okay, this stumped me. I can go learn more, and that'll take me right back to the learning section, and I can maybe review, go through these again, say, okay, it's olive, tan, and brown that are the main colors, and, I have dark green, rose, and terracotta as the accent colors. So I can study that. Maybe I want to go back to the home screen, and from here even I can go straight to taking the quiz. So this time I know that terracotta is a complement, and then that tan and brown are main colors for this earth tones palette, and I got correct. So I can see now that everything's right, and I can just click this again. It's emphasized with the sort of light blue accent color we use, and it'll take us. This button will take us to the next question, and we'll see. Now I have to create a color palette from these items. So I know it won't be earth tones. So I know the other options are jewel tones, pastels, and monochrome. So if I look, is this monochrome? Monochrome, that would mean, first of all, it would mean no complements, because it's just the main colors of white, gray, and black. So I see gray, I see black, but that inability to that complement means that it's not going to be monochrome. And then pastels, could be pastels. If we think back, there was this light green is a pastel color, but we're not seeing any other pastels, so that doesn't really make sense. We would see maybe a light pink or light blue, I think, thinking back to the learning phase for pastels. But here we have ruby and emerald pieces, so okay, that makes sense. This is probably a jewel tone, and the jewel tone, yeah, so I'm gonna put the ruby, the emerald, and the brown boots makes sense, and correct. So I've gotten that right, and I'm gonna go on to the next question. And okay, this makes sense. This looks a lot more like pastel colors. So this looks like a pastel for shorts. Those were the only shorts, so that is kind of evident. And then, okay, well, this blue also looks like a pastel color. And this white sneaker would make sense as a complement, because it sort of goes with the subtle aesthetic. And, okay, I've gotten this correct again. I can move on to the next question. And, okay, finally, I know, just looking at this one's slightly different, so it only has mains. We can see the circle for complementary colors is gone. So, okay, that immediately makes me think monochrome, and that kind of checks out, because I can see there's black and white here, and if I check that, I'm correct. So that's a monochrome, and then you can see, different to the rest of the questions, this now says quiz complete. I managed to get all 4 questions correct. I've done a bit of studying though, so maybe you didn't, and you want to take the quiz again, you can just click this button which says start over, and it takes you right back to the first question. And there was also a button that, like on every other page, would just this learn more button takes you right back to the earth tones. And something really nice is, in addition to the buttons here, previous, next, and take the quiz, you can see the circle on top, and actually clicking this will also change between the different color palettes, and clicking on Colorama takes us right back to the home. Yeah, so that's Colorama. Thanks for watching. Colorama is a site to teach you about color palettes for men's fashion, and we think it's pretty helpful. I might need to implement some of the things I've learned making this. Thanks for watching.